All right, and welcome. Good afternoon. Welcome to Transition Tuesdays, again presented by St. Louis Youth Interagency Partnership. My name is Amy Sickerman, and I'm an Assistant Director of Transition and 511 Services for Voc Rehab. As you may know, this youth interagency group was put together a couple of years ago after WIOA law changes to kind of help build stronger connections between agencies working with youth, to help learn about different resources and how we can work together to better serve our youth in the area. I will again put my information in the chat for those of you who missed it earlier if you have any questions about our partnership, and I will put our YouTube channel as well in there again. We do these conferences every year, and this is our second year of doing webinars. So welcome to our second annual virtual webinar series of Transition Tuesdays. It is divided into 5 different parts this year, and there are CEUs to each part. I found out a way to just get everybody's email, so I will just email everybody a CEU who is in attendance for today. There's a separate one for each date that you attend. So we have been covering topics. We've already covered Job Corps and HiSET, housing, transportation, and today we have information on apprenticeship. So we're very excited to have Lisa Barber, our Director of Business Services for Voc Rehab, today to talk about apprenticeships. And I know she has a couple of special guests who will be joining her that I'm sure she will introduce as we go along. But I will go ahead and turn it over to Lisa. Welcome, Lisa.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Welcome, everybody. So we know apprenticeships are the big buzzword that we all hear about. So we wanted to just do a basic overview of Apprenticeship 101. Kevin, if you could go to the next slide, my lovely assistant, Kevin. We're just going to do basic Apprenticeship 101. So you know, what are they? Why is there a big buzz about them? We're going to talk about pre-apprenticeship and what are the basics that are with pre-apprenticeships. And with that topic, I have 2 guests that are joining today. Angela Baker is going to share about the CNA pre-apprenticeship program that she has going on. And Aurora is going to share about the BUD pre-apprenticeship program. And then we're also going to identify some apprenticeship opportunities that are available, and then how you can find apprenticeships. Okay, so you are a slide ahead of me, girl. Okay, so apprenticeship components. So these are the 5 core components of a registered apprenticeship. So apprenticeship is an employer-driven career pathway model that is an earn while you learn approach to training individuals and meeting the needs of our workforce. So more than 75 years ago, apprenticeships began mostly in construction and other skilled trades. However, today there are apprenticeships in a wide range of occupations. Apprenticeships are registered through the Department of Labor, and they do have to have certain components in order to be approved. So the 5 components include, you have to have a business, right? Employer driven. Employers play the active role in building each of the programs. You have to have structured on the job learning components. So apprentices receive hands-on training from an experienced mentor at the job site, and these can last for at least 1 year. There is related technical instruction. So apprentices will receive technical and academic instruction that applies directly to the job. And it can be provided by a college, a university, a technical school, maybe an apprenticeship training facility, or the employer themselves can provide this related technical instruction. It can be provided at a school, online, or at the job site. So they can be tailored to the needs of that industry and the business. And then there has to be rewards for skill gains. So apprentices do receive increase in their pay as their skills and knowledge increase. Apprentices are rewarded and they're motivated by those wage increases as they learn more and increase productivity. And then at the end, there's a national occupational credential. So every registered apprenticeship graduate will receive a nationally recognized credential for mastering the required skills and then demonstrating the required knowledge to be fully proficient in the specific registered apprentice occupation. Next slide. So what are the apprentice benefits? So why would I want to go into an apprenticeship and not maybe into college or a different pathway? So registered apprenticeship offers the workers to be paid their relevant workplace experiences while they're acquiring their skills and the credentials that the employers value. They do offer the mentorship on site. So they're learning hopefully from somebody who is already skilled, and they can give and provide that mentorship that folks need while they're learning a new job. So you're getting a paycheck from day one, and you're going to gain that workplace relevant skills in that particular field. It also provides an affordable path to secure those high-paying jobs and careers without your typical student debt that comes along with your college. It also, once you become, you complete your required trainings, you get the nationally recognized and its portable credential, as well as some of them will even give you college credit through post-secondary education partners. So that credential that you can take elsewhere in the country in the same field, it'll be recognized because it's a registered Department of Labor apprenticeship. The average wage after completing a registered apprenticeship is around $72,000 annually. And then workers who complete the registered apprenticeship programs earn on average $300,000 more over their career if you compare it to peers who do not go through an apprenticeship program. And then I think I saw a quick question. Are apprentices paid for the classroom and technical training portion? So in the majority of situations, it depends on how the apprenticeship is set up. So if it's a front-loaded one, you might not be paid right away until you learn those skills that you can take on the job site. But as soon as you're actually working for the employer on site and learning those skills, you should be then at that point being paid for that earn while you learn. This particular slide here, we kind of swiped from another presentation where it compares a person who goes into a four-year college plan or versus the registered apprenticeship route. So in week one with four-year college, you know, your tuition payments start and your classes begin. But in an apprenticeship, your paycheck starts and you're learning on the job and your classes also begin. Then you move on into your years 1 through 5. Those tuition payments in college, right, they're still sitting there waiting for you, and they're, you know, at the end with your student loan debt that you get. And then you have limited work experience, if any, in your chosen field, because you're really concentrating on that college degree. You might not be gaining any work experience while you're focused on that. Whereas if you're in an apprenticeship program, you're learning on the job with your cohort, your classes continue, and then you're getting those scheduled increase in wages. So once you graduate from college, then you've got to find that job. There's no guarantee for getting a job in the field that you've studied in. But if you're in an apprenticeship, you're already well into your career. Your paycheck is continued to grow. And in some, again, registered apprenticeships, you might be earning college credits along with that program. So this particular comparison says that the average college student graduates with more than $35,000 in student loan debt. And then if you're in a registered apprenticeship program, no debt, and you could be around $280,000 into your wages and benefits earned. So it's a great comparison, kind of shows you that this is another pathway for folks. Okay, now this slide is about employer benefits. So if I'm an employer, why would I choose this apprenticeship route? And what it shows is that you're able to recruit and develop a diverse and highly skilled workforce that helps to grow your business. And then you're creating that structured but flexible training option that ensures workers will develop the right skills for you in your work, in your employment, in your business. And then also the retention rate is so high. It's around 94% retention rate for those who complete a registered apprenticeship program. That is a key cost saving to employers. So that's just a few reasons why employers would be on board for getting a registered apprenticeship. So just a few numbers. You guys have probably heard Missouri is on it with apprenticeships. That's why it's the buzz all around the state. We hover between second and third place in the nation in the number of completed apprenticeships. We are fourth in the nation for new apprentices, sixth for those active apprentices. And if you think about it, we are in the top 10 in the nation across 4 out of the 5 categories for registered apprenticeships. It is a focus of our state. It helps to build a strong workforce. So it is a focus in the state of Missouri. So the question is, do you know the number of registered apprentices in the state of Missouri? And this number just grows on a daily basis. So it's more than 20,000 registered apprentices since October of 2019. And more than, it's around 8,200 completed apprenticeships currently. And those could be old numbers. So that's the numbers over the summer. So keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick overview of what a pre-apprenticeship can look like. And then we have our 2 guest speakers to talk about their pre-apprenticeships, because it's always best to hear successful, programs that are out there. So it gives you a good picture of how, what those students or youth that you're working with can really grow in this area of apprenticeship. So a pre-apprenticeship is a program or a set of strategies that is designed to prepare individuals to enter and then succeed in a registered apprenticeship program. They're going to vary in the enrollment requirements. So as an example, some of them might require a specific score on a work keys assessment or a TABE. So some type of an assessment, they might need to rank in a certain area depending on that field or that industry that they're going into. So you want to research those requirements to best prepare candidates. A pre-apprenticeship can last from a few weeks to a few months. I'm hearing a little bit of background noise. If you check your mute buttons real quick. So a pre-apprenticeship could last anywhere from a few weeks to a few months, or it may or may not include a wage or some type of a stipend while you're in that pre-apprenticeship. They vary in program elements. However, at the core, it does place the individual on a pathway to employability through a registered apprenticeship program. It can expand the participant's career pathway with the training and classroom instruction. And it really does allow individuals the opportunity to see if this career pathway is a good fit for them. Is this a good option? Is this something I want to, pursue that apprenticeship in? So those are the basics. The first guest that I'd like to introduce is Angela Baker. And Angela is going to share with us her CNA pre-apprenticeship program.
Good afternoon. My name is Angela Baker. I actually work for Special School District of St. Louis County in the Adult Tech Ed Division in a pre-apprenticeship program. It's called the Healthcare Stars program. So it directly bridges into our registered CNA apprenticeship program. Next slide.
Slide, Kevin. Yeah.
There you go. Next slide. The Healthcare Stars stands for Successful Training pre-apprenticeship with resource support program. So the implementation of our pre-apprenticeship program for the healthcare sector in St. Louis region provides individuals a bridge, or if there's a gap, if they have interest in working in the healthcare field and could benefit from some additional career navigation, foundational and essential skills development. These workforce development skills are essential to successful completion of a healthcare education or training program and important to secure and retain employment. In addition, the program provides an opportunity for a career pathway exploration with a focus on stackable credential model designed to promote career readiness and advanced employment opportunities in the health career pathway. As an example of this would be completion of the Healthcare Stars pre-apprenticeship, completion of the CNA registered apprenticeship program, and also a stackable credential in that apprenticeship. It's called Certified Medication Technician Program. And then a lot of our apprentices complete the apprenticeship and move towards nursing programs. So this career ladder, stackable credential model benefits both the employee and the employer and provides expanded opportunities at each level. However, people must obtain the necessary education and training and workplace skills required to gain entry to the career pathway. So hence the Healthcare Stars program provides this important gateway to a career pathway in healthcare for many people in the St. Louis metropolitan region and has strong support from employer organizations. So the goal of our Healthcare Stars program is to assess and address barriers to improve CNA apprenticeship program completion and CNA certification, leading to higher levels of employment with a focus on the development of that career pathway that will have a positive impact on long-term employment, enhanced wages, and career advancement. It is 3 weeks in length. It's 24 hours per week and is a non-paid component. The next slide, CNA apprenticeship program performance date. Our Healthcare Stars pre-apprenticeship was actually funded through the MAR, the Missouri Apprenticeship Ready Grant. Our results, our first year's results from 2021 to 2022, we had 7 cohorts of pre-apprentices. We started 72, completed 71. Completion rate was 98.61%. Our transition rate, meaning they transitioned successfully from the pre-apprenticeship into that CNA registered apprenticeship program. And actually, the state renewed our grant, so we were doing another year of this pre-apprenticeship programming. Next slide. So who are our students? So these are our students. So our students that enter the pre-apprenticeship transition as a CNA apprentice, we have the majority of our students are African American, mostly women. So 98% women and 91% people of color. Next slide. Any questions?
Angela, of course, we love your pre-apprenticeship program. We've had 3 success stories through vocational rehabilitation. You're always great to, if we let you know that one of our students has applied, to look at their application and see, if they're a good fit for the program. Do you have any of your favorite success stories?
Oh, there are many success stories. So kind of a little bit of a background. I work for Special School District of St. Louis County, so we have many resources. We have the special ed side, and then we have the career and tech ed side. So merging both of those sides to help individuals in the communities. We have students that come in with IEPs. So obviously our district understands them, and we can provide the necessary resources. We hired on special education retired teachers to assist us in this pre-apprenticeship component. So we've had a couple of students that did struggle with the apprenticeship. So that's why we created the pre-apprenticeship, address those barriers and establish successful strategies to ensure that they would be successful as they transition in the CNA apprenticeship. Some of the success stories, we had an individual start the pre-apprenticeship, complete the CNA apprenticeship, completed the CMT program, and is now a licensed practical nurse. They transitioned into our 1-year licensed practical nursing program. So there are many different, there are many different stories, not just coming from Voc Rehab. We're noticing a lot of individuals, do have IEPs or should have had IEPs in high school, and we address those challenges. But thanks for taking time to listen to information about our pre-apprenticeship.
Yeah, and I just have one more question for you to share with the group. How many employers have registered apprenticeship that your program leads to?
So currently we have 6 employer partners. We actually cannot keep up with the demand of individuals wanting to enter this industry. So if anyone knows of a nurse who would like to teach CNA, please let me know. But yeah, we have completed close to 300. I think we're nearing 300 apprentices.
It's amazing, Angela. We're so thankful for your partnership and for you to share today. And I think Angela is going to hop off. Does anyone have questions for her about the CNA pre-apprenticeship before she heads out? You can unmute or put it in the chat.
I have a question for Angela.
Go ahead.
I'm wondering if we have a student who is actually working with vocational rehab, would they kind of funnel them into you, or is it something that the student would have to ask specifically about the pre-apprentice program?
Sure. So no, you can definitely funnel them to me. I'd be more than happy to talk with the individual that you're serving, see if it's a good fit. They have to go through understanding there's a process. So with the pre-apprenticeship component, they're already interviewed by the employer. They have a letter of kind of like a pre-employment letter. So they're not going through this huge process and not going to have something at the end in that successful transition. But yes, I would definitely love to work with anyone who's interested in beginning your healthcare career.
Does vocational rehab, she's already working with someone at vocational rehab, would they know to contact you? Do you have a partnership with them, I guess is what I'm asking,
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I will jump in there, Sue, and I will say that individual may want to talk to their VR counselor about that program, just more about it, because they may not automatically think of it. So I would have them kind of talk to their VR counselor about it. Or if
Okay.
they want to talk to Angela about it, and then Angela and that client could reach out to VR just to make sure everybody knows that they're interested in the program.
Okie doke. Okay, thank you.
Angela, could you put your website in the chat? There was a question, is there a website so that they could learn more about the program so that they can share it with the students that they're working with?
Sure.
And then is there an age limitation?
18 years of age or older with a high school diploma or equivalency.
Right, great questions. And we can always get you in touch with Angela if you think of something after she does hop off. So with that, we will go ahead and move to Miss Aurora. She's going to share with us the Building Union Diversity Pre-Apprenticeship Program. And I think you should be able to share, Aurora.
All right, let's check it out. I'm going to share the link to our website first.
Perfect.
And then hopefully share. Okay. All right. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right, because I have it on full screen. So if there's any chats in the chat box, I cannot see it because all I see is this huge presentation. All right, so my name's Aurora Beeler, and I am a union iron worker with Local 396 in St. Louis. And I am part of the Building Union Diversity Program. So why a career in the building trades? Well, one, it provides excellent wages and benefits, and two, it provides opportunities for advancement and financial stability without a college degree. So this is my question to everyone listening and watching right now, but please name 2 trades, and I should say 3, but can someone give me a trade other than iron worker, because I just listed it, and then carpenter, electrician, and plumber? Can someone name another trade, please? Shout them out because I can't see any text.
Electricians?
Well, except electricians, see if you see the screen. So try to name what's another trade.
Welder?
A floor lane.
Okay.
Bricklayer?
All right, we got 2. Give me one more.
Welder?
Welder is actually a skill and not specifically a building trade.
Iron workers?
Pipe fitter.
Okay, pipe fitter. Yep, iron worker. I just said I was one. Okay, so all right, not too bad. So there's a lot of union building trades, right? There's boilermakers, there's bricklayers and allied craft workers, there's plumbers and pipe fitters, there's carpenters, elevator constructors, plasters, laborers, floor glazers, heating and frost insulators. There's a sheet metal workers, operating engineers, sprinkler fitters. There's a lot of different trades out there. And how would you know you would be a good glazer if you didn't even know that that trade existed, right? And how would you know that you would be a good cement finisher or you would love to do terrazzo floor if you didn't even know that those existed? And so what the BUD program does is we introduce that, and I guess my slides are kind of goofy, but let's just go like back and what is it, an apprenticeship program? What's with what is a union building apprenticeship program? And this also works generally for non-union as well. But, an apprenticeship program is not, it's not just a word like we were just talking about. It is a Department of Labor registered apprenticeship. So you have completed a curriculum, right? It's not just you showing up kind of, fiddling around with a hammer and then all of a sudden you're a journey level carpenter. It is a strict curriculum. And it's very difficult if you don't understand how to get into apprenticeship programs if you just are not familiar with it. So if let's say you wanted to be a glazer and you don't even know where to start, well, there's 2 points of entry for the building trades apprenticeship programs. And this is another reason why people often get frustrated with trying to start an apprenticeship in the construction trades. So we have the letter of intent process and also the point of entry of applying with a union's joint apprenticeship committee program. And so letter of intent is probably what some people might be more familiar with, where you just kind of walk up and show up to a contractor and say, hey, are you hiring? And they go, yep, you'll work, and, you would take that letter. And at that point, once you have a letter of intent, you would then register and start your apprenticeship. And then for the being indentured to the program, that's the joint apprenticeship. You would get picked up, you would get, an interview or a test, or maybe both. And in front of the Joint Apprenticeship Committee, which is a mix of contractors and the apprentice committee from the union side. And then between the two, those come together and you interview with them. And if it works out and you get accepted, and it's therefore the apprentice coordinator's job to find you a contractor to work for. So what is the BUD program? Well, what we do is we introduce you to the construction industry, to the building trades, to the union building trades, to what the heck a glazer actually is. If anyone's curious on being a cement finisher, Marcus right here is finishing the edge of a freshly poured pad. Concrete masons, all they do is finish concrete. So if you were to pour concrete out, or if anyone's ever mixed it, it looks like chunky oatmeal, and it does not get to be smooth on your driveway just by magic. There's someone fanning it, and there's an art to it because I find it very difficult. So what we do is we go through and we get people prepared. That way they're the most successful we can possibly try to get them when they enter in these apprenticeships. So we follow the NABTU, North American Building Trades Union MC3 curriculum. And it's a lot of hours to get in, and we do it, right? So there's construction in awareness, of what's a general contractor versus a subcontractor, construction trades awareness. So what is a glazer? What's an iron worker? What does a carpenter do in a residential side versus an industrial side for the carpentry programs that they offer? And, what is a terrazzo floor mason? What is terrazzo floor? So there's a lot of things that people just are not aware of if they're not exposed to it. And, it might have been from a family member or a neighbor, or maybe a shop class back in the day. But we're here to basically have people who may not have even thought themselves to be interested or even to belong in the construction industry, and have them explore and be prepared. And so we go over tools, construction math, heritage, so kind of like history, diversity awareness. We do OSHA 10, CPR first aid. And this is our first class where we also did scissor and aerial lift certification as well, blueprint reading, and financial literacy. So here's some photos of our students. So the other portion of the BUD program is doing hands-on, because how would you know, you might have your heart set on being an operator until you get into the backhoe and you're terrified, or you realize that maybe you don't have the coordination you thought you did. Or you get to the tapers and you finish the wall and you're like, this is it. I love doing this. So getting that hands-on experience while at the apprenticeship schools is incredibly important, because sometimes you might have your heart set on something and you try it and you're like, yep, this is not for me. And it's fine. That is the whole point of the BUD program, is to get exposed, to try it out, to get hands-on tools. And all of this is done at the Union Building Trades Apprenticeship Program. So let's say you're like, yep, being an operator engineer is for me. I would love to be in this backhoe every single day. Well, at that point, they can fill out an application right then and ask the apprenticeship coordinator and their instructors important questions, like, when would my benefits kick in? What's the application process? Do I need to get a letter of intent, or do I need to apply to the Joint Apprenticeship Committee? Is there maternity leave? What is the journeyman scale, and how much would I make as a first term apprentice, and how much would I make per hour as a second or third term apprentice? So the people that actually know are able to answer those questions. And so that's why it's very important that we go to the schools. We also go to job sites and various contractors in their shops, because there's a lot of other parts of construction or the trades industry, of working inside of a shop. If you're an electrician or a sheet metal worker, a lot of things are actually made in-house and sent to the job sites. So we get to see those things too. So what does the BUD program include? Well, what we do is we want to try to eliminate barriers. And so what we do is we provide transportation. We also have Metrolink passes as well for our students. We have two wonderful retirees who work. One drives a van and the other one kind of herds cats, trying to figure out who needs a ride where. We do $100 a week stipend during the BUD program. We provide boots, hard hat, safety glasses, and also gloves. Because one thing I experienced when I first got into the trades is I could ask where to buy boots, but a lot of times, unless you're, a 6'1" guy with, a size 10 something shoe, a lot of people have never thought, where do you buy women's size 7.5 steel-toed boots in the St. Louis area? And so I try to make sure that they know that they do exist, and this is where you can buy them. And if they have, if they need special things, like they need extra large gloves or extra small gloves, I provide them. That way they know that they exist. We also do pants, a pair of work pants, and then 2 high vis shirts. And in addition to that, once they get accepted into the trade, we also help out with a $150 tool allowance. We do mentoring, because how would sometimes you just need to call someone and be like, what the heck is this? Everyone keeps saying wicker bill and I can't Google it. What is it? And it's like, that's just a St. Louis term for a specific type of clamp. And, sometimes you just need to talk to a human being and go, what is going on? Why did I do this? Or, man, I loved today. It was great. I couldn't believe that I actually liked, throwing deck. And then another thing we also do is, because not everyone has transportation, and we want to make sure that they can get to and from work when they actually are getting into the apprenticeship programs, is we work with United Way and Lyft. And Lyft will take our students to and from work for 30 days for free. And that way they can collect enough paychecks to work with St. Louis Community Credit Union. And, if they want to get, a quality used car and not get hosed in one of those places that try to rip you off, we work with different community organizations to help with that too. So our 91% of our students complete the training. 82% get into the trades after they graduate. 20% of our students are women, and 80% of our students are people of color. So what are the requirements? Well, one, you have to be over 18. Now, if you apply and you're going to turn 18 by the time the BUD program starts, before the cohort you are applying for starts, I'm okay with that. As long as you are 18 the day your footsie touches the floor on day 1. Also, you need to be eligible to work in the United States and meet military selective service if applicable. Our preferred credentials, so basically we will do a drug test. And also we are looking for a math score of 5 from work keys, and also on workplace documents. Now, I understand that, and I personally struggle with standardized tests. So when we say it's a preferred credential, it's preferred, not required. So if a student gets a 4 on the math score, I'm not going to exclude them from having an interview with us. I just, some building trades do require a higher level of math. And so I just need to know if we need to start working on some extra tutoring for the students to get where they want to go. So would apprenticeships work with us? A lot of them. In addition to Ameren, who have gas fitters and IBW linemen and electrician, high voltage electricians. So we have a lot of different union building trades that work with us. So as far as like when do we have the cohorts, I do not have the schedule set for 2023 just yet, but typically our cohorts will have 4 a year, and they're kind of like evenly spaced. So we have one kind of early spring when things start to break out. We have one, in the, later spring, early kind of summer, one in the heat of summer, and then one actually right now, my students are at the Carpenter's Apprenticeship program. So we have generally 4 cohorts a year. So if you have students that are graduating in the spring, obviously they may not be able to meet the first one of the year, but they'll probably be able to hit our second or third, and that way they can still, complete their education, in high school or doing a high set test, and then do the BUD program afterward. So yeah, how do you apply? Well, you go to our website, and you can also take work keys, and that, you can take it with us, you can take it at school, you can take it at a workforce development center. And then the final process for applying for the program is doing an interview with us, and we make sure that in our interview, it is community organization, labor, and contractors. If you have any questions, I will put my email in the chat. This is a QR code of our website, and that's me at Ballpark Village doing curtain wall. So that is it. Let's see. How do I stop sharing? Did I stop sharing?
Yes.
Okay.
That is great, Aurora. I think you answered the question about work keys test taken as an entrance exam before or after the BUD program. So that's to get into the BUD program. You guys want to see where they're kind of at.
Correct.
In order to get in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how many do you take per cohort?
That varies. I generally have about 15. I've had classes as big as 19. I've had a class that was about 9 and 14, and then this class is at 17 right now. So
okay. And then they're asking for your email again. And I'll just say, work keys, that is kind of a 5 on those 2 portions, can be a little bit, difficult for some folks to get there, but there are remedial courses. And I know that Leslie is on that has information on that. There's several places across the city and the counties that have help with those work keys remedial courses to get the student up to where they need to be to do, be a good candidate for the program.
Yep. And when they apply, I generally will follow up with an email with a variety of online resources, free online resources for practice tests. If you're a book person and you just cannot handle the screen, you can also go to the library, and they can help you with work keys there. And also, if you need assistance in taking the exam, St. Louis Community College has been excellent for providing any assistance that someone might need. So.
And I'll just pop in also. Hey, Aurora, it's Leslie Kevaney. How are you?
Hi.
Hi, Leslie.
UCity Adult Ed also can support with work keys. I just dropped my email in the chat. If anybody needs assistance with work keys, we can enroll them into our program as well, help provide tutoring if those scores aren't happening, and help with that way. So you'll see my email in the chat if anybody needs assistance with work keys.
Yeah, UCity has been an absolute wonderful organization that has been with the BUD program way before I even came on. And we've had several students, go through their program first and then do the BUD program, and they're doing great. So.
And I see, Roseanne, you had a question about taking the work keys before to see if a review is necessary. UCity Adult Ed can help with a placement quiz and a curriculum that we have. So we can help work with that and give them an idea of how they might perform on the work keys without fully taking the test.
Any other questions for Aurora?
Thank you for that.
This is Amy. If you want to, you can send me, like I said, your slide deck, and I'm happy to share it out with the rest of the team. And Leslie, Clay, if you guys have any information about your work keys program and taking the test there that you want me to share with the group, I am happy to do that as well.
And Kevin, if you'll just pop back up our PowerPoint, I'll go ahead and finish our slides out. And while she's pulling that back up, I just want to thank you, Aurora, for your time and visiting with us and sharing about the BUD program. It's such a great resource for those working with individuals that are trying to figure out what they want to do. And it just gives them a good overview of, something that they may have never thought that they would be good at. So It's a great resource.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks, Aurora. And Kevin, are you working on getting the
I am. My
slideshow?
Outlook is
Okay.
spinning, but give me just a minute more.
No worries. I just want to make sure you're still there. You didn't duck out on me.
Thought about it.
I hopefully we're going to be able to go through. So we should be on slide 15. And so this is just a little information about a youth apprenticeship, because you might hear about these. They're growing in population across the state. They're not a pre-apprenticeship. So they're registered apprenticeships that are created specifically for in-school youth. The registered youth apprenticeship programs work to build a stable workforce pipeline for employers, as well as provide the high school youth with more local paths to a career skills training. So participation in a registered youth apprenticeship program does allow businesses to develop a high school junior or senior apprentice. I think you're in the presentation mode.
Sorry, that was Amy sharing the other one, and then Kevin took over. So
So there are youth apprentices around the state in different high schools. There's the one in special school district that you heard from with Angela. And in our area, I believe that is the only one on this list. The rest of them are scattered across the state. Okay, so we are on slide 16. And can you put that into display settings? Go to display setting. Oh yeah, Four Rivers, Jennifer, thank you.
I'm having trouble with it, Amy. You want to navigate?
I will share mine, yes.
Right there, funding options. Okay, real quick, we'll go through some funding. So when we talk about funding, we are referring to paying for the training component of an apprenticeship. So apprenticeships do have that training hours that are required, and someone has to pay for that piece of it. So many partners across the state have been awarded grants that do focus on funding apprenticeships. And we have some of them listed here. So Department of Labor, Workforce Development, the job centers, some community colleges, CTE centers, that's the Career Tech and Ed centers. The Chamber of Commerce even has been awarded a grant specifically to develop and build IT apprenticeships across the state of Missouri. So there is funding from many different areas. And then of course the employer will many times pay for that training component because they're investing in that individual, in that apprentice. Also, just want to note that Voc Rehab is a possible funding source. So if the individual, the apprentice, is accepted into an apprenticeship and they do also qualify for Voc Rehab, we could possibly fund that tuition piece. Financial guidelines do not apply when you're funding a registered training component of an apprenticeship. But the secondary services, we do have to look at the financial need for those secondary services. And then Amy, if you'll go to the next slide. So I think we have time. Amy, could you just click on the Mo Apprentice Connect? And if this is not going to work, I can bring it up. Okay, perfect. Yay. Okay, so where can we find apprenticeships? So this is the difficult part. I'm not going to lie to you. We do this. We are always looking for an apprenticeship that meets the needs of the individual that we're working with. And so finding them is a little bit difficult. The chamber has developed this particular site. This is moapprenticeconnect.com. And Amy, if you will go see where it says apprenticeship, find the perfect fit and more, just hit the little search. Yeah, that guy. So you can go on here. You don't have to have a registered login to look here. So if you're looking for an apprenticeship for someone that you're working with, you could do a search for a particular industry. You could search a particular area. So the first three here are a human resource specialist, a computer programmer, and agriculture, some kind of a technician for agriculture. And so, yeah, just scroll on down through those. There's all different kinds of apprenticeships out there, as you can see. Oh, that's cool. Industrial machine technician in robotics. So that's in Sedalia. Facilities management, welders, machine tooling, a corrections officer, that's in St. Louis County. They've increased their pay. That's a little bit old, that's 17. But as you can see, so this is one way that you can do a search for an apprenticeship for someone that you might be working with. And then next, Amy, if you'll go back and we'll click on the next resource, which is apprenticeship.gov. Okay, so this is, the main Department of Labor or government's website. And I use this a lot. So apprenticeship.gov, and then Amy, if you'll go to career seekers, and then over there, apprenticeship job finder. And this is where you can do a search for your area. So I just type in St. Louis in the location, St. Louis Mo. Or if you're in a different part of the state listening, you just type in wherever you're looking for that apprenticeship. And okay, so look, it says 1 of 493. Okay, so that's a lot to scroll through. You could narrow the search if you know the industry that your individual is looking in. You can narrow the search down by that. There's a lot of them in here for like Walgreens and CVS in pharmacy tech. I know because, they're just pages and pages of them. So that's a great way to enter, pharmacy tech is try to find one of those apprenticeship programs with your local CVS or Walgreens and help your individual look at those minimum skill qualifications for the job posting. And then if they're not quite there yet, you can be working with that person on getting those skills that are necessary to be a good applicant for the apprenticeship program. So, and apprenticeships are at all levels, right? So some of them might require some schooling, some of them might be entry level and just, graduating from high school they require. So, okay, Amy, could you go back and we'll do the next tool. Your Mo Job Center. This is a great place to go. Try to find your local job center. The funding that comes from the federal government funnels through your job centers. That's what's called WIOA funding, WIOA funding. So if you can go and learn from your local job center, do you have any money for apprenticeships? What do those apprenticeships look like? And then you can see if your individual would qualify for that particular kind of funding. This source, if you'll scroll down a little bit further, Amy, to the bottom, it breaks it all out into your supervisors and leaders and their address, phone numbers. So this is a great resource for you guys to reach out to your job centers to find more about apprenticeships. And then Amy, if you could go back, I think you have one final. Explore VR, and I only put this in here because if you're really wanting to learn more about apprenticeships, this is an apprenticeship toolkit. It talks about internships, pre-apprenticeships, and apprenticeships. And they have training modules. It's all free. You can sign up for and take any courses that you'd like to learn more about apprenticeships on this Explore VR. All right. And then what's our next slide there? Okay, so our takeaway slide. So just a few takeaways on about how to best implement the knowledge that you gathered today. If you have a student who's interested in a specific career pathway and you don't know that there are potentially apprenticeships, you can help them, you can do some research now. You can reach out to VR business team, me, Lisa Barber, or Kevin Rutledge. You can reach out to Amy. She can get you in contact with us if you have, if that's easiest for you. And we can help you learn a little bit more about that career pathway and if there are apprenticeships in it. I would just recommend that you read the minimum job qualifications for that area that the person wants to work in, and then help that student to develop those basic skill sets. For example, if they do want to be a good candidate for the BUD program or construction, you can start working with them now on how to read tape measure, that basic construction math, learn what tools are used in that particular industry, take them on a job shadow or an informational interview to learn more about the field. So I'll just throw it out there. What sparks your interest in connecting a student with an apprenticeship, or do you have any ideas on how you could utilize the information that you learned today working with your students? And then Amy, I think that last slide is our contact information. That particular email is for the VR business team, and we can get you to the right person, and find out the resources or the help that you need in connecting with more apprenticeship opportunities. So the two that we shared here today are just one example of a pre-apprenticeship, which we really like them because they're a great way for exposure and for somebody to learn how to be a good candidate for those companies out there who do have registered apprenticeship programs. But there's many other pathways to get into an apprenticeship. So we're happy to chat with you. If you want to learn more, just reach out to us.
Do you have any questions for Lisa? You must have just covered it all too well, Lisa.
I know, that's awesome. I hope it just has opened your eyes to apprenticeship as an opportunity for career pathway for those that you're working with, because they are growing across the state, and they are a really good pathway option for folks who just don't really want to do more school right after high school. That I barely made it through high school. I don't want to go to more schooling. So what are my options? And this is just a way that you can learn a really good skill set and get into those middle skill and those jobs that pay a living wage for folks. So I thank you for your time today. I hope it was informational, and reach out if you have questions or want to connect with the folks that we had as guest speakers.
We're getting some thumbs up. So thank you so much, Lisa, and your other folks, Aurora. And I know our Angela left us already, but thank you so much for joining us today. I will send out all the information I have a little bit later this afternoon, and this will be on our YouTube channel as well. So thank you everybody for joining us. Hopefully you'll be able to join us for our last session. Next week on Tuesday, we have a representative from Squish, which is the LGBTQIA helpline, as well as somebody from SSM Behavioral Health Services. So we hope to see you next week, and have a great rest of your week. Bye, everyone.